Everybody, welcome back to the Professor Utonium Appreciation Hour.
Oh, that's so much better than the shit I just watched.
Okay, no...
Evidence on that. We'll talk about that later.
Welcome, everybody, to the Day After podcast of the complete series of Craig McCracken's The Powerpuff Girls.
/ Professor Utonium is the best dad character in any series.
Really? That's what shocked me the most. Okay, here's just some background.
Throw his beautiful face on screen.
Just some background. Craig McCracken, there's 6 seasons of this show. Craig McCracken worked on 4 of them and then left to go make Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. There on the show, he met and married storyboard artist Lauren Faust, and they've been happily married since.
Yes.
And good for him.
You might know Lauren Faust as the creator of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Is she really?
Yes, that's what I knew her from.
Okay, cool. So, we'll talk about seasons 5 and 6 here in a bit, but for now, we're going to consider seasons 1 through 4, which are...
Should we talk about characters, or...?
As they come up, we'll see. But the point is, he made a really cool, subversive show. I wouldn't say subversive, but it's got a lot of style.
Right, so we talked about this when we first started watching this. I grew up with watching the Powerpuff Girls. In fact, my friends and I were obsessed with it for a while.
Ditto.
Well, you told me that you didn't as much because
I did,
because you were like, oh, I can't watch a girls show.
No, I watched it, and I kind of poo-poo people that said I can't watch it because it has girls in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So my mistake. So yeah, and I'm familiar with the early stuff, with the pre-season 5 stuff. So some of it's really, really good.
A lot of season there. The ones I watched as a kid happened to be seasons 1 through 4, because when Craig left to go work on Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is about when I stopped watching.
Right.
I was old enough. It was like 04. I don't have my points ready.
Right.
That's when a lot of people got off, is when they did 4 seasons in a movie before the 5th one happened. I
saw that movie in theaters.
Did you? Yeah. I wanted to. My dad refused to take me.
Oh, sad face.
He's like, it's basically it's like that meme. Hey, can we go see the Powerpuffs? You have the Powerpuffs at home.
Dang it.
It's a good movie. But I guess one thing I want to talk about, because it's like your reaction to BB-8. I did not expect you to be that vitriol. Can we talk about Bubbles? Air your grievances.
Well, I thought we were going to talk... It might be easier on this one to do what we did with Ed and Nettie and just talk about the girls in succession. Talk about the characters in succession. So we can start with Bubbles if you want. Here's the thing. I am absolutely biased. Take what I say with a grain of salt.
10 million grains.
So my favorite growing up was Buttercup, and we'll talk about Buttercup here in a minute. But when I was a kid... There's a new Flash game that came out on CartoonNetwork.com called Powerpuff Girls Pillow Fight. And with the release of that game, they launched a campaign where you could vote for your favorite Powerpuff Girl every time you played the game. So on a Saturday, I fucking sat at my computer for a solid 3 to 4 hours playing this game and checking in votes for Buttercup. And Bubbles was the one that won.
Sorry. You're hanging on to that for a long time.
Yes, so I have some grievances.
Okay.
And I acknowledge that a lot of grievances I have with Bubbles are not logical, mainly based on that.
They're
internet
very
thing.
specific.
However,
did you want to finish? Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh yeah. I'm still going. However, Bubbles is freakishly annoying. Now, number one, I respect Tara Strong to the moon and back.
So that's what gets me, is that Tara Strong, this is like the role that made her. Not to say she's not famous for other things.
Right, and I have no problem with her voice. It's high and squeaky and whatever. Tara Strong is amazingly talented. The character is annoying as hell. Quite often has no point being there. And, even the Bubbles episodes, to me, are, not low points for the series, but not interesting.
Here is my chief complaint. It's a good show, and this is not your chief complaint, but about Bubbles, is... all the girls have bad episodes where they don't come out of that looking good. But when Bubbles has those, she says sorry, and they're like, oh, Bubbles, you're just so pure. And
yeah, she's there to be dumb and pure and stupid, and everybody loves her for it. And I think that's a problem with the character. Now, this is a great show in that all of the girls have very severe flaws. They're very nice, round characters.
Yeah.
Bubbles, to me, are just the hardest to stomach. And I totally accept that's a personal thing. But, oh my gosh, she's so annoying, and all she does is bitch.
That It felt good?
Ugh.
Okay. I guess,
Let's talk about the surprise of the series. I did not expect your affinity with Blossom.
Oh, I like Blossom. So here's the thing. I guess I always like it goes back to me liking Billy from the Power Rangers.
Okay.
I like the smart character, and she's just fun, and she's knowledgeable about shit, and...
So...
Yes, I get it. If we're gonna talk about, flaws, she is a goody two-shoes.
Right, and and they constantly hit home, oh, her worst trait is that she's bossy. Like, no, like, you don't understand. If you grew up with an older sister, at least I did, mine was exactly like Blossom. Like, swinging her authority around because she's the leader and she can tell you what to do. And it's annoying, but I appreciate Blossom much more than Bubbles.
Yeah. I have less to say. I mean, I like her. Linda... Oh, gosh, Linda... Oh, not Cardellini is the... Oh my god, thanks! Blossom is... We have the credits open. Blossom is voiced by Catherine Cavadini. Very... I don't know her from a ton of other stuff.
No, I don't either.
She's a good... she's a good voice actor. But,
I will say Blossom has the fewest bad episodes.
There's I don't want to save the day because I have a bad haircut. There's I'm snooty because I use my ice powers too much. But yeah, not a ton of them.
Yeah.
But the girls, there's not a lot to talk about individually, so we'll go ahead and move on to Buttercup.
Yeah. So Buttercup was my favorite growing up. Watching the series again, I find her less precocious and tough and more just, yeah, she's the little shit that I probably was when I was that age.
That's fair, yeah. It's cool to like the tough one, and she's got some rough episodes.
Yeah, she
I don't
does.
want to take a bath.
The Gangrene episode where she doesn't talk, which is fascinating.
She doesn't talk in the Gangrene episode?
Until the very last...
We're talking about the very early one where she falls for Ace.
Right, yeah, where she falls for Ace and she wants to hang out with the Gangrene Gang and be kind of that little rebel child, which again, I'm sure that's who I was, which is why I connected with her. She doesn't have a line until the very end where she says, I'm sorry. And that's all she says.
Okay. It's good when you have a trio for them. Don't treat the trio like its own entity. I'm glad that they gave the individuals multiple episodes.
And they really bounce off each other well. Like, Buttercup is the antithesis to Bubbles, Sweet, and Blossoms. Oh, we gotta do the thing. And so they do. They really bounce off each other very well. I wish Bubbles was less fucking annoying about it.
That's that. And they're good kids, and we'll get to it. Here is, if you take anything away from this series, one is the villains gallery, which we will get to in a moment. Fantastic. The other is Professor Goddamn Utonium.
Professor DG Utonium! Oh my god!
David Garrett Utonium.
Damn good is what you said.
I thought you said goddamn. Oh, okay.
No.
Professor Utonium, he has kind of schlub moments, and he's just so genuine. He wants to be a good parent.
He wants to be such a good dad.
He's dorky and...
Imagine that you're a 40-year-old man who all of a sudden has to take care of 3 little girls. You've been on your own like your entire fracking life, and now you have to figure out how to be a dad.
He's so fucking...
His backstory episode was fracking cool. Because you found out, like, what a little shit he was.
That was cool.
And, like, how rebellious he was.
When we tackle some of the best episodes, I do want to talk about that.
He has some kind of episodes, like the one with Dynamo, which the Dynamo has other problems. We'll get to that later. But, oh my gosh, just, he's so pure, and he's so genuine, and he's just freaking... Oh,
he's so good, and
he's such a good character.
He's just a little weird in seasons 5 and 6, but we'll the time. Do you have anything else to say?
He's just absolute weird dad.
He's so good.
Awesome.
I love it. He's very well written. I'm so mad that voice actor hasn't done a lot of other stuff. Pour one out for the mayor. Okay, this is where we're gonna tackle it, guys. The mayor is voiced by Tom Kenny, and just to get out of the way, this movie must have bought Tom Kenny a house because he voices 85 freaking characters.
Yeah, he voices a ton of other characters. He's also the narrator.
He's the narrator.
So he honestly probably has more lines than any other character in the show.
So that and SpongeBob, he's set for life.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But so the mayor is a good round character. He's silly, but kind of likable.
Seasons 1 through 4.
But let's tackle the This is where I guess we'll tackle seasons 5 and 6, because when Craig left, the show took on a tonal change, and I thought, oh, maybe it'll dip a little bit. It's immediately apparent this is a different show from episode 1, because the plot, the B-side of the premiere episode of season 5 is that the mayor is, for whatever reason, gigantic,
It's a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids trope. Is what they're making fun of.
He is bitching that he wants pickles or some shit.
Yeah.
And he's just a whiny brat. He's beyond idiotic.
And for the rest of the series, like for the rest of season 5 and the rest of season 6, he never loses that whiny baby mechanic. Whereas in seasons 1 through 4, he was silly and he was like, oh haha, but he was like not in it as much also.
Good.
So it wasn't, he never grated on you. But like, yeah, he was dumb and yeah, he was vague and carefree and what have you, but he was also hardly in it, so it was fine. And he always had something to bounce off of, whereas they just turned him up to 15
He's
in the later seasons, and it's really a shame.
Seasons 5 and 6 can be considered a gag show.
Yeah,
it's very much for slapstick laughs, and the mayor is the biggest casualty there.
Right, and I don't know if that's a change in what Cartoon Network's going through. I don't know. I'm not here. We're not here to comment on why seasons 5 and 6 are the way they are. Craig left, things changed.
They took Randy or somebody took it up.
But it's noticeably different. It's also digital as of season 5.
Yeah, which completely. Is the animation took a little bit getting used to, but it did look sharper.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that Dexter's Laboratory very thick outlines.
Right, I love cell shading. I love the look of cell shading in cartoons, but I accept that digital is what you have to do.
I don't know if that's considered cell shading.
That's what the first stuff was.
Okay.
Because there's a credit line that says
okay. Maybe I'm not a member of the I'm not hip with the lingo.
Any other characters you want to talk about before we get to the
only two is Miss Keen and Cerebellum. And Cerebellum, yeah, you never see her face. That's the joke, and it's never referenced.
And she has one episode where she kicks the shit out of somebody while wearing fishnets.
That was cool.
Kind of weird.
That's cool. Miss Keen is your standard teacher.
Yeah, and but she's also she's one of the most believable characters in the whole show, which is really nice. There is an episode where Miss Keen and Professor, they kind of shove them together and then weirdly pull that apart. It doesn't go anywhere, so as long as you treat it as a standalone, it's fine.
Sometimes you realize that them not having a date doesn't make them bad characters.
No, yeah.
In fact, being together makes them worse.
Yeah, and you get to kind of explore what if, but the show does never commit to it, and it makes the argument that it doesn't have to, so that's really nice.
Okay. Well, the other place this show really, really shines is they have, I'm not counting the Rowdyruff Boys, we'll get there.
Yeah.
They have 6 core villains that 5 in the Amoeba Boys, but they're all really good, and the best thing that a villain can do is, you know when you're watching Teen Titans and you're like, oh shit, it's a Mad Mod episode? Or
this episode's where Slade actually shows up and you know it's not a one-off?
I love that they're an indicator of the tone of what kind of episode you're going to get. If this show has left a legacy of any kind, it's Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, absolutely. I know now 2 people who had separate cats named after Mojo Jojo.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. 2 of the people that I work with separately adopted cats and named them Mojo and Jojo.
That's awesome.
That's some kind of legacy, and they didn't grow up with the show. They're an older generation than we are.
I thought about this back in season 2. Mojo Jojo is kind of like the Buffalo Bills. He comes out swinging hard. He always comes to win, but he never does. And that's honestly the kind of what you want in a villain. At least in a show like this, you have your Slade types, which very dark and brooding and mysterious. When Mojo's on screen, some crazy random shit is gonna happen. But it's not slapstick shit. He just overthinks things.
Yeah, he overthinks things, and he always turns everything up to 11.
His character design is awesome.
Yes,
and
his backstory is awesome.
Oh God, talk about good fucking episodes.
That was a good episode.
We find out his origin story that the professor invented him.
Well, no. The professor had him as a lab assistant.
And then he fucked him up. And then once the girls were born, he was this neglected child.
Yeah, well, he got fucked up by the chemical X explosion that created Powerpuff Girls.
Isn't it cool that a monkey has a fucking brain? It's cool looking. And he talks in a super stupid way.
And oh my gosh, the episode where he gives the kids powers. We should talk about episodes later.
Okay. The episode where Mojo Jojo teaches Reaganomics.
Oh my god!
It's one of the rare slapstick episodes that isn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Where he decides, I'm going to teach everybody to talk like this in a really redundant manner.
A really, really rare good season 6 episode.
It's tough to find.
They're few and far between in that area.
He always comes out swinging, and it's amazing and great. And
Any more to say about Mojo?
no, I want to get some of the bad ones out of the way.
Okay, Fuzzy. Considering he was the original villain, when
yeah, that's super weird. That when they pitched the Whoop-Ass Girls,
yeah,
Powerpuff Girls began as something called the Whoop-Ass Girls, which was like a silly cartoon he would draw on birthday cards for people, and he brought it to Cartoon Network. He's like, we love it. We can't sell toys with the word ass in it.
So we got to change that name.
He's like, okay, I'll make something up, and that's the end. But in their first thing, they're having a meat tasting contest, and Fuzzy has a ray gun or whatever that turns everybody into meat.
Yes, and if you play the some of the original Flash games for Powerpuff Girls, you have to fight Fuzzy and his meat gun. And I was so effing confused because I didn't understand why we were fighting Fuzzy with a meat gun, because he never has that in the show. Well, it's because it was those specials.
Jim Cummings, again, this is like a treasure trove of good voice actors. Jim Cummings is the voice, of Pete from Kingdom Hearts 3 and
from Disney. How about Jesus Christ?
Guys, you're never gonna get a playthrough of KH3.
Sorry, I'm having fun though.
It is good. Jim Cummings. Here's a shame. Fuzzy is a cool character. I know that every show could benefit from a brute force character.
Right.
But he has a couple of problems. Number one, he's not the focus of very many episodes. He gets 2 in the main core series, and then a couple others
like sprinkled throughout
5 and 6. If he was the focus more, or if his strength was a bigger deal, I feel like that could have been cool. Like a bumpkin he gets into his own trouble, but through misunderstandings. He's not malevolent, he just wants his privacy.
Right, and that's to me is the fatal flaw with Fuzzy, is that the only reason he has to be there, the only reason the girls have to fight them, are because they're messing with his shit. Like, if you would just leave him alone,
get off my property,
he wouldn't do anything. But literally the first episode you meet Fuzzy, they're invading his privacy. And he never has a good reason to be there, to me, is the worst part with Fuzzy. Except for that one time he kidnaps the professor and tries to fuck him. That was weird.
Okay. Honestly, we're not giving explanations. I encourage people to go watch this again.
Just go watch the series.
It's actually, God, you get off when you want. He has some fun episodes. I wish he had more, because he doesn't show up. It's like when he runs for mayor on the platform of Shut Up.
See, here's okay, that is a great episode. Here's my issue, though. I've heard you complain about Fuzzy before as we've been watching it. I feel like if he was in it more, you would just have more to complain about, because I know how you work.
If he had better, I could. It's like when I see that, I could be watching a Him episode or a Gangrene episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's like the kid that never got a chance to play baseball, so you don't know that he's good. I wish he did.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, God, more suck. The Amoeba Boys.
No, let's do a sandwich. We're talking about him.
It's a compliment sandwich.
Oh my freaking God! What is him?
Okay.
What am I looking at? Oh my gosh! What is it?
Him is in a different light now than it was when the show came out.
Yes.
He's definitely flamboyant, very ambiguous, because in the first episode he's so evil, so vile. We only call him. And
you don't even notice the fact that we call him, but he's wearing lipstick, a feather boa, and high heels.
And it's like, you could see some stupid TV tropes page, like, is he a boy or a girl? Who cares? He's flamboyant. He can have a scary episode. He can have a wacky episode.
Oh my God. Every time him's on screen, you're like, oh yeah, this is funny. But also, there's this undercurrent of like, oh my God, he's going to have like fucking world-changing powers.
What I love the most about him, I'm going to say I forget it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Is his range.
Yes.
You get crap. Okay.
You get him being silly. You get him being literally Satan.
Okay. But on the silly side, it's the Powerpuff Girls' birthday. And from jail, all the villains have failed to F up their birthday party. And then him comes out. He's got a badass pinata that gets giant and like stampedes the town. And it's hardcore.
Yes.
And then it busts up into candy. And everyone's like, you failed. It's like, no, I didn't. Now they get tooth decay. Just like, he's so pleased with himself. I'm so happy.
And I'm just like, oh, like, if Mojo had more of his shit together and was more like actually evil, because Mojo, he's out to take over the world, yes, but he's really, really in it to beat the Powerpuff Girls. Taking over the world is just the next step. With him, You get the idea that he's just having fun.
He loves to take baths and watch TV. It's amazing. When you meet him the first time, he's doing aerobic exercises.
Yes.
Oh, in the episode where the Gangrene Gang is doing crank calls, like, it was him, and then they busted, what are you doing, him? And he's like on his back doing bicycles. He's like, what do you want? I'm not gonna, okay.
So it's, yeah, him is fascinating. He was my favorite villain growing up. I will go ahead and say he's my favorite villain now.
It's so good.
Just, you really never know. All the rules are broken when him's on screen.
I love it. He's so good.
Well, what about the episode where they all had the nightmares?
Okay.
And he turns this into this absurdist, like Madoka Magica or whatever that show is.
It's the last you see of Core McCracken Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's really fracking awesome.
It's like peak him, and I'm like, oh, goddamn.
Yeah, that shows you like what he could do if he really sat down and tried.
And there's just...
But he never does.
For a long time, my favorite episode, we'll get to favorite episodes later, was him Riddle Diddle, the premiere of season 4, where they have...
Oh, yeah.
Where Professor's gonna get in some deep shit if they can't solve 9 riddles in time.
Yes.
And they get there, and I'm a fan of a TV trope called the flat what, where something happens and instead of going, what? You just go, what? And when you find out that it wasn't a life and death thing, he gets a free flapjacks if you can solve it in time.
Yes.
And even the narrator doesn't say anything. He's just like, what? And it's a silly episode.
Yeah.
And it had both, and it's amazing. Sorry. I'm done gushing. Are you done gushing?
Yes. We need to keep going.
Back
here.
to this shit sandwich. The Amoeba Boys suck.
They do.
Yes, they're slow and stupid. That does not fill an episode.
Well, yeah, and they're made to be funny, and I get it, but they're never like the jokes always fall short for me. When I was a kid, I may have appreciated them more. Watching them now, it really doesn't do it for me.
It's like that sloth joke from Zootopia.
Yeah, like I get what you're going for, but it's not.
The one decent idea they had is where they accidentally give everybody... They get everybody sick.
Yeah, they get everybody some crazy virus, which is really cool. But that's their opening episode. I would have been fine with them as one episode villain.
I prefer Fuzzy to the Amoeba Boys.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done. Let's talk about the Gangrene Gang. I'm gonna say you're my favorite villain. No, you. The Gangrene Gang is amazing because... Sometimes I need an episode where you're not going to take over the universe. You're just spray painting on the side of a mall.
Right. They're not Mojo levels of, I'm going to take over the world and kill the Powerpuff Girls. And they're not him levels of, I'm going to break reality. The Gangrene Gang wants to prank call people and spray paint the side of something and just be normal teenage misfits. And... every time they're on screen, they're very consistent with that. They're some of the most consistent villains.
There's the occasional... I don't think there's no outright failures of episodes with the Gangrene Gang.
No, my favorite is where they go to school. Except I don't like the detective.
I like the detective, Jack Wednesday.
Yeah,
it's a reference to something. Some kids aren't gonna like it. Yeah, I thought it was funny.
It didn't do it for me.
It gave me Mojo Jojo vibes. Anyway.
But it's hilarious to watch high schoolers try to be in kindergarten because it's exactly what would happen.
Yeah. My favorite Gangrene episode, Jesus, is where they're dicking around at a convenience store eating all the food.
Oh yeah, and they get magical powers.
They accidentally get radiated and now they have powers, and they're such like low life villains, they have no idea what to do with them.
Yep, Billy's a rock. Ace, I think, is ice breath.
Ace has ice breath, one of them's stretchy, one of them's very fast.
Arturo's fast.
And one of them burps really loud.
And yeah, Grubba has sonic powers.
Yes, and that episode is solved by a poop joke, but it's
it's not the last episode.
Jesus.
It's not a season. It's not a series finale. God damn.
Okay, but I love the low stakes. I love that the show signifies what kind of episode I'm getting.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
So
Buttercup, I'm sorry he broke your heart.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
You'll move on.
The princess. Here's how they know they had it. Here's how. Jesus Christ. Let me check the book.
Every time Princess is on screen, John has like a little mini freak out.
No.
Yes, you do.
Okay, hang on. Here's what it is.
I watched this whole series with you.
Yes, I did. Okay, but let me explain myself. You knew you had a hit in the Powerpuff Girls because she gets an episode. She's introduced on the A side of the second season premiere. So they're like, this is a good show. Let's get one more really good villain in.
Yeah, and it's a character that everybody's gonna know. Everybody knows somebody like Princess, and everybody kind of she's like Blossom but worse.
What I don't, that's really good. What I don't like is to help get the point of her character across, they dialed her up to 11 or 12 just for the one episode.
But like every single time she's on, they dial her up a little bit more, and you get to the point where you're like, but she was fine before. Like, she has one gimmick, and just roll with that. That's enough to make an episode for, in my opinion. You don't need to keep ramping it up about how she has all of this stuff, or how her dad can like buy superpowers, or the time she bribed the Rowdyruff Boys.
Oh, we'll get to that. What I get is they state in a different episode, who's that? Oh, that's Princess. She's basically harmless. So they say that she's not as big a threat as Mojo or him, but they're still not the laughingstock that the Amoeba Boys are. She's a good medium point.
Or is she not a good medium point?
Well, she is a better medium point than the Amoeba Boys. Yeah. I still don't like her, but that's her character.
Yeah, and again, she's not on there very much, and I think that's okay. I would say there's just a couple more Princess episodes, and then there are fuzzy ones. I mean, your mileage may vary. If you're like, oh my gosh, I freaking hate Carla from 3rd grade and how awful she was, you know, you're gonna connect with that character and enjoy getting her get the shit rocked out of her.
I can't shit on her too bad because she's a main player in what might be the best episode of the series.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that yet.
We're not getting talking about that yet. What I want to talk about is the very weird case of the Rowdyruff Boys.
Yes. Okay, so can I explain this first part, please?
Okay.
So the Rowdyruff Boys was a one-time episode. It was a one-time... I think it was a finale, wasn't it?
It was a one-time episode late in season 1.
Late in season 1, and it was just a one-time thing of... It was a natural mirror for the girls. It was their first half-hour-long episode. And then they die at the end of it. Spoilers. And then sometime randomly in season 5... They're brought back...
By him.
And they're consistent, like, there's probably, in season 5, there's probably 4 Rowdyruff Boys episodes in a row. That's too many.
Not in a row, but yeah, there are a lot. Ignoring seasons 5 and 6, what I found amazing is that I thought, by how much of a legacy they had, that the Rowdyruff Boys were in more than one episode.
Yeah, it's amazing how much people connected with these guys, even though they were only in the one episode. And again, maybe it was the half-hour length. Maybe they were just really, really well written. But you can have a good character and have that character still only appear once. Like they had the Shadow problem with the Sonic the Hedgehog series.
Yeah.
People were pissed when they brought Shadow back because you completely ruined the game where he premiered. I feel the same way about the Rowdyruff Boys. You ruin the kind of magic of their premiere episode,
that one episode,
by constantly having them back in very mediocre to bad episodes.
Yeah, it was a little weird. And they're very much gross out humor, and I get they're young boys, but there's like a scab thing and a loogie thing. It's gross.
Yeah.
Before I get to good and bad episodes,
any other villains we gotta talk about? Any of the one-timers like the Smith family.
Holy shit!
Oh, the Smith family!
Before we get to our top pick, let's go through some honorable mentions.
Okay, so for the longest time when I was a kid, the frickin' Smith family pair of episodes were my absolute favorite episodes of anything.
And before we started the first Smith Before we started the first Smith episode, my wife goes, "Oh, it's a Smith episode." What the fuck are you talking about?
They only have 2.
And then it clicked.
And it's so good! Oh my gosh!
It's got such weird, awesome pacing.
You could almost, I would argue, with the way the Smiths kind of bounce off each other, they could almost have a short run show. Like, I just find this family fascinating.
Like, for those who aren't aware, the Smith family is 4 people. It's like a schmuck guy who's married to a weird trophy wife, but he hates his job, he hates his life. So he has weird hobbies. And the wife is trying to be the best housewife ever, and he has 2 kids that don't respect him.
Yeah.
A Bart Simpson type and a little baby girl.
And a little girl that's just, I'm there to be weird.
Yeah. And in the first episode, he's like sassy that, well, I don't know
He doesn't like he wants to be a supervillain is the key piece John was missing there. His lifelong dream is to be a supervillain. And so when the Powerpuff Girls keep saving the day and everything, he gets very upset and goes to work on his superhero costume.
And it whips itself out in the first episode, and then they've made a meme out of what he says, his threat. He goes, after dinner, I'm going to use this hairdryer and melt the professor's head clear off his shoulders. They've made memes where the professor is eating a pea for 10 hours.
Yes. And it's just, oh my gosh. Okay, so then Smith gets arrested, he goes to jail. And then
they have another meme where the girl right at the end of the episode says, Powerpuff Girls ruined my dinner.
And you think like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a one-off episode. And then they fucking come back. And the whole Smith family wants to be supervillains too. The other guy gets out of jail finally and finds out that, oh, his family is totally on the supervillain thing. And they go to destroy the Powerpuff Girls because they ruined his wife's dinner.
Because they're petty and they break the house and they walk in and they're like, oh, what happened? Something's terrible. They broke everything, but we still have family. What? And then they tell them that we broke your house.
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid.
That's really dumb.
You're stupid. And they get their ass whooped.
And then they get their ass whooped. And then they all go back to jail. And then you never fucking see the Smiths again.
That's all we had to say about them.
It's so good.
Oh my god.
Oh, I love the Smith family.
It's so freaking. I don't have anything more to talk about.
Can we talk about the leech? And then I'll be done.
Okay, the leech is
oh my god, the leech
episode.
is fucking scary. And I had nightmares about him. That's all I have to say about the leech.
Okay. One thing before we get into really good episodes and really bad episodes. What time period is this show in? Because it's got very 50s, I guess?
Well, okay, so so in the flashback episode of Professor Utonium, they're watching a duck and cover video. So you get the idea that he grew up like in the 60s.
Yeah, so he was like a 9-year-old in 60s? I thought it was the 50s.
Yeah, it could 50s, 60s, whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's an older guy now. He and Miss Keen are the same age, it is revealed. And then so yeah, again, I would consider my conjecture right that Professor is probably about a 40-year-old man. So yeah. I would it's probably set in the time period it's written.
Okay. So because he grew up in the 50s, that's why he has a very modernist is the bad word, but it's very square. He's got a square chimney. He's got a rectangular head. I love him. You can have the most rectangular head ever. But it's
I love you so much, Professor.
He's a good dude.
And every now and then his chest poofs out.
I'm a proud dad.
I'm a fan of that.
Girls. There are do you want to tackle bad episodes or good episodes first?
Well, we didn't talk about Sedusa. Is that bad?
Sedusa's the other one really good.
Yeah, she's okay.
She's in a couple of episodes.
Yeah, there's other villains we're not discussing. I just didn't want to say that. So let's talk about best episodes first. My absolute favorite is the Robin episode.
So a new family moves into town. They're next door to them, and there's almost no action from the girls. It's just them interacting with this new girl.
Yeah, it's alluded to, but it doesn't really follow the girls at all. It follows this new little girl, Robin. She makes friends with the Powerpuff Girls, and they have a good time, whatever. And then the girls are constantly called away to go save the day. And it was really interesting to tackle how normal people relate to superheroes. And it really, really drives home the fact, I think better than any episode, that these are kindergarten girls that are fighting all of these monsters.
I find that those are the strongest episodes is when they're being just girls.
Right. And it's probably, it's hit again really well in the rock opera episode where there's like, oh my God, we have a chance to be normal. But you really hear, and oh my God, that song.
Yeah, they have a really cool insert song at the end of the first half. Princess comes in and says, you shouldn't like them. They can't spend 100% of your day with you. Therefore, you're mean. Here's how you get their attention. You go steal some candy.
Yeah. And so it's a really good, like, this is peer pressure, like, on a different scale, but, like, this is something that seriously happens. And like, it shows how horrible kids can be to each other. And it of course ends up fine in the end, but I love it when shows tackle real issues like that in a way that you wouldn't expect from a show where they invade some pink monster's privacy and he shouts, "Get off my property," while beating them with a banjo.
It also has the all-time best Professor Utonium moment for me, which is where at the end of the episode they're playing around with Robin and the phone rings. He goes, "Hey, what's that, Mayor?" You can't get the pickle jar open. I'm sorry, the girls are busy. They're gonna have to call you back. Oh, you're so too pure for this world.
Oh my gosh, that's the Utonium appreciation hour.
God damn it. Good classic episodes. They all get turned into dogs. And
that's the pilot.
It's not quite the pilot. It's like episode 2 or something. But then they come back and they have a weird episode where they watch that episode and he talks about how he's gonna do better
by doing worse.
It's like you would think on paper an episode where they just watch another episode.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know. It's kind of, yeah, it's odd.
They have the Dynamo episode, which is like the Powerpuff Girls are big in Japan, so I can see why they would want to allude to their.
Yeah. Japan even made an anime about them. And you can, I get the idea behind Dynamo, and to me, that's for the professor's weakest moment. He's really, really scared that his girls are gonna get hurt or whatever. So he doesn't want. So he creates this super special robot to help protect them, and they don't use it. Finally, he convinces them to use it, and they realize, oh, I had nothing to worry about all along. And then Dynamo kicks the shit out of whatever they're fighting anyway.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and I just don't dig kaiju shit.
It's your mileage may vary.
I don't think it's interesting. I find, it's not. I mean, if you like Godzilla and kaiju stuff, giant monster fights, go for it. It didn't do it for me.
They have there are 2 episodes that Craig did not want to make because he was gonna get crap for it no matter what, and that is the masculinity episode and the feminism episode. The feminism episode more so. There's a woman who robs a bank, and she robs a bank because she wants to show that she can do evil as good as men, and women are superior. And when they're taking her to jail, they're like, don't you think the man is keeping you down?
And they agree with her. They just listen to her.
And it's kind of shitty.
And let her go.
And they're shitty for a while, but then Keen and Bellum, who would never share a scene together, they have a really cool scene where they're like low-key sassing the girls.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the professor, he made us do chores. Oh, how dare he make you do all the chores and not doing any himself?
Well, okay, so he actually just wanted us to clean our room.
Okay, but
the mayor constantly wants us to do stuff and wants us to go save the day, and that's not fair.
Well, you're right. The mayor should save the day with his own superpowers. And they get like, oh my god.
They just get totally clapped back for a solid 5 minutes, and it's amazing.
It's really, like, the Bellum has the good intentions in mind, which is rare, because she doesn't get a ton of good character.
Yeah.
The masculinity episode, oh, actually, there's a better masculine episode.
Yeah, so there's a couple that you could be talking about. My favorite is the one where they go to, with the Major Glory and the Council of Supermen. And it's just because I love Major Glory, he's fucking hilarious. And
it's like a leftover cartoon that they paired with Dexter's Lab. They're like, you're such a good character. Can we get you in a couple more things?
Yeah, and so I mean, like, you can guess what's going to happen before I even say it. And the girls prove that women can fight stuff too, yada, yada, yada.
And that's actually, it's not quite, what is this random character doing in here? Because Craig worked as a storyboard artist on Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, so Craig was involved in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was. Him and Gendy.
We're not gonna go through the entire episode on your phone.
No, we're not. Okay. Okay.
So, like, if you can't think of it, it probably didn't stay good enough with you.
That's good. We talked about all the other good episodes.
Yeah, the birthday episode is really good.
Okay, let's talk about bad episodes.
That one. That we just watched.
Oh, just because it's in our brain, it's...
So we just finished the season 6 last episode, I think before it was canceled. I can't imagine that was actually a series finale. The opener is a Rocky and Bullwinkle sketch where they're trying to fight a small, medium, at large.
And what kid is gonna appreciate a Rocky and Bullwinkle reference?
I don't know what Rocky and Bullwinkle is. I saw it on Boomerang by accident and I was bored to tears. And that whole episode I was bored to tears.
And there's like a slap in the face where they're like, we'll get you back into the city faster than you could say bad television.
Yeah, and that joke happens 3 times. And then... the next episode is Bubbles can't find Octi and starts blaming everybody, and then it ends
because they caught Mojo, who's trying to cause trouble, and he's in the bathroom eating banana cream pie, and they get a call from the place that says, hey, don't eat the banana cream pie, it's contaminated.
And then, of course, he gets called a party pooper, and then some awful noises happen, and then the episode fucking ends.
You left your audience on a poop joke.
On a poop joke.
Damn
you should
it.
be ashamed of yourself, and I'm only mad because the show is better than that.
I'm not... Okay, I understand Craig wasn't working on seasons 5 and 6. People were like, oh my god, how could the classic get canceled? How could Courage and the Powerpuff get canceled? Just, like... I admire it for what it was before Craig left.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, if you really want to see the show in its glory days, just watch seasons 1 through 4. That's fine.
And you can pretend the other ones don't exist.
Yeah, you can watch the other ones, and hey, maybe you'll get a great kick out of it.
Maybe it's a different show for
your
you.
Mileage may vary.
But I don't want to talk about any more bad episodes.
I'm trying to think of some
Mascara.
released... Yeah, Mascara is by far the worst episode in the series. I think we can go ahead and say that.
Yeah,
It's really bad.
this character whose gag is, I'm going to cover everybody in makeup.
Who's voiced by
Phyllis Diller.
Yeah, who's voiced by Phyllis Diller for some reason.
Most of her lines are her just laughing, and she has a very distinct laugh. But the
Yes.
episode sucks.
And it's just it's not good.
That's not
the episode where they find the fucking baby.
Holy shit! Sorry.
That's really bad.
I don't want to tackle bad episodes. I don't want to leave on a good note. This is a good show. Go watch it.
No, yeah, it is good. The movie is solid. In my opinion, it's a little long.
It's a little long, but the origin story, I like that angle instead of let's tackle a new thing.
And the movie, the Powerpuff Girls movie, to me is a key example of you can know exactly what's gonna happen and still have a good time.
Yes.
You know their origin story. You know how it works. You know what happens, and it's still awesome.
It's a very good indicator of the show's humor, which is gonna.
Yeah.
It's a good indicator of whether you're gonna like the show.
I just thought of some more bad episodes, but I won't bring them up.
Nope. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you guys.
Tune in later for
something.
We have Dexter and Courage left.
We have Dexter and Courage for. Did Craig work on Courage?
No.
Okay.
John R. Dilworth, my boy. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.